Hi, welcome to the F1 Time Portal, a Formula One history podcast started by two Formula One Herbies. I'm your host, Rosa.
And I'm your Kashmir host, Luigi. And today we're taking you back to the 1974 season, part 4. So let's go. So Herbies, we're reversing our position now. You're the one that has the more interesting ones than me, but
yes. Yeah, the Herbie cars. So the Herbie movies. I loved those movies as a kid. Yeah, so I thought it was very apt given it was a racing car. I don't think it was a Formula One car. It was kind of like a Le Mans race, those movies.
No, it was a Beetle.
It was a Beetle, but the race, was it like Le Mans? I can't remember.
They were just random races for kids.
They were just random, yeah. Anyway.
Sometimes it was a race against a baddie with a gun. And sometimes it was a car race. Do you know what I mean?
That's right. Exactly. Yes.
And I'm not being political at all with my word. Kashmir is a song by Led Zeppelin. It's a song that I like. It's probably about that region in India, Pakistan. And we're not taking a position on that. It's just a good song that was released.
It's just a good song.
From
it
74.
It can just be a good song. Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. Even though the song itself might be pretty political, I don't know actually. So yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
moving on.
Yes. So we're up to race 8 of 15, the Dutch Grand Prix. It's at Zandvoort, June the 23rd, 75 laps, and the weather was warm and sunny.
So the only real drama was internal politics here, with the smaller teams including Pache being withdrawn by the Surtees team, as there was some disagreement between him and the team owner John Surtees about his withdrawal from the Swedish race. So when I looked up the Swedish race records, it states Pache withdrew on lap 15. That's an unusual reason. Didn't really give a reason. So I wonder if it was a handling matter. Anyway.
It sounds like John Surtees was not happy. That's for sure. And sounds like Pache was not happy either to drive that car. Also of interest is that in Mike Lang's book, he makes reference to Scheckter being the Tyrrell team leader. So that adds some perspective to the previous race result where Scheckter was in front, even though Depailler got pole position. So
exactly. Yes.
There you go.
So on Saturday, Ferrari continued to dominate. They seem to be dominating on the Saturday, but then the Sunday, nothing happens. So they were in a class of their own. And to put it in context, Lauda set a time of 1 minute 18.31 seconds, with most of the remaining teams struggling to break under the 1 minute 20 mark.
Yeah, that's a big gap over the rest, isn't it?
I'm surprised that the other teams didn't try to call out a timing error.
Yeah, it's funny that they questioned Regazzoni but not Lauda.
Regazzoni. I know. So the grid was Lauda first, Regazzoni second, and other key players were Fittipaldi third and Hailwood in the McLaren fourth.
Yeah, that's pretty good for Fittipaldi to be up there again. And Hailwood has done well in that same car to be not far behind the team leader.
Yes. So the last race winner, Scheckter, as has been happening the whole season, won one race and is now in 5th. And Hunt, who finished 3rd, did he last race? He's down in 6th.
That's right. But at least they're in the top 6. They're not like 13th or something, which is what Fittipaldi did when he was at Monaco. Yeah. So to the race start, when the flag fell, Lauda immediately darted into the lead, with both Hailwood and Depailler in the Tyrrell charging up to 2nd place ahead of Regazzoni.
Ooh, Depailler is right up there despite qualifying 8th. That's a really good start by him. And there was some minor drama on the first lap with 3 drivers out as Hunt collected Price's shadow, and this caused enough damage for both to be out, while Stuck spun out later in the opening lap.
Well, a lot of interesting action right at the start. At the front, though, Lauda had opened up a 1 second lead after 1 lap. And while Regazzoni had passed Depailler and was right with Hailwood, the Ferrari really seems to be in tune with this track.
Let's hope they can maintain it. Let's hope their car stays together. So after just 5 laps, Lauda was visibly pulling away from Regazzoni. And Regazzoni, now in 2nd, was enjoying a 5-second lead and he was ahead of Hailwood. However, it was not domination from this point, as Hailwood was leading a nose-to-tail string of cars, and this is where the attention firmly switched to.
Yeah, because on lap 11, Depailler pulled out of Hailwood's slipstream and took third. Then Fittipaldi did the same 2 laps later. So this is like a mini Monza slipstream battle of track. So this is exciting. It doesn't look, when I look at the track, it doesn't look like a slipstreaming track.
No, it doesn't at all.
But it must have been, of course.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, as exciting as that is, I'm enjoying the boring Ferrari procession out the front. So as half distance approached, the Ferraris clearly had this race sewn up, but Regazzoni was not making it easy for Lauda as he had earlier closed up and was right with him now.
I doubt Regazzoni is going to shake it up, but let's see. Given that Regazzoni is further ahead in the championship, will Ferrari switch them? They're not it's not like one's dominating the other.
No, they're only 1 point different.
So if Ferrari DNA is anything to go by, I suspect not. And having said that, if Lauda wins this race, i.e. likely, and Regazzoni finishes second, Lauda will have 30 points and Regazzoni 28. So to the race, third place was about to change again as Depailler's car developed a worsening oversteer as the fuel load lightened and he could not contain Fittipaldi any further.
So Depailler would proceed to fall back to 6. Such was the poor handling that he had to manage. And Ferrari would enjoy their second 1-2 of the season. Fittipaldi third, Hailwood fourth, Scheckter fifth, ahead of second Tyrrell driver Depailler in sixth.
Yeah, and the mere fact we didn't talk too much about the rest of the race means not much else happened.
It was boring, that's right.
Yeah.
So Fittipaldi still holding on to his lead in the Drivers' Championship. He's on 31. Lauda's, as you said, Luigi, is now on 30 and Regazzoni on 28. Yeah, interesting. I just feel like Ferrari's stuffing this season up. Anyway, on the constructors' side, we've got McLaren on 42, Ferrari on 39.
That's tightening up.
So, yeah, Fittipaldi, I think he's clearly now the number one at McLaren.
He was the number one before the season started.
I think so, yeah. And Ferraris, like I said, they're just taking points off one another. But I don't like a.
Who did
Who
did they back?
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, we're up to race 9. It was
probably too early.
Okay.
It was probably too early to make a call. But they probably need to make a call now. Ferrari need to make a call now.
I don't know. It's still lots of races to go. It's only just past the halfway mark of the season.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's
okay. All right.
Okay.
I can feel a big tragedy coming up.
I hope not. So race 9 of 15, the French Grand Prix at Dijon-Prenois. July 7, 80 laps, and the weather was warm and dry. So we're at a new circuit.
So this is the 5th different venue for this race over the past 9 years. Mike Lang referred to this track as something of a Mickey Mouse affair. Whew, that's hard words. But then went on to say that the track was quite interesting with an average speed of about 200 kilometres per hour.
Yes, that's a pretty decent speed. And the track's it's a fairly short track, 3.2 kilometres. So there were 30 drivers turning up to the race, but the race organisers restricted the race to 22 starters.
So guess who the F1 Association or that boys' club constructors representatives were, Louis? None other than Bernie Eccleston and Max Mosley. And they were the prime people who complained about the overcrowding and got the numbers reduced.
They got the competition reduced.
Yes. So there was a number of returning or occasional drivers for this race. So we have the debut of Jean-Pierre Jabouille making an attempt to qualify in the Williams. So we'll be hearing more of him in future.
I think it's pronounced Jabouille.
Jabouille. Very good, Louis.
Yeah, I did do French. I did do French in high school. I can do the French names, but not the Italian names.
Okay, I'll do the Italian names. That's weird, as we both have Italian heritage.
Yeah,
but anyway.
I know, yeah. So after the Ferrari walkover in Holland, everyone expected more of the same at this track. And while Fittipaldi did set early fast times, it was Lauda who again scorched around and set the fastest time, followed by Peterson.
He's still using that 72E as well, so that's pretty good. In third was Price in the shadow. Apparently he was using the whole track plus a bit more to really land his impressive time.
He's
That's
doing
a
ready.
Mike Lang.
Yeah.
No
He's
track limits back then, hey?
Yeah, back in those days. And I was just going to mention, just to put this in perspective, the pole time from Lauda was 58.79 seconds. So these laps are less than a minute. So we're talking
Yes.
58.79, 59.08. You don't see many tracks with times less than a minute. So it's a
not
novelty,
at all.
isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yes. Yeah, and Jarier in the other shadow was 12th. So Price did a very good job being third.
Yeah, he did.
So fourth was Regazzoni in the Ferrari, then Fittipaldi in the McLaren, and Hailwood beside him. So of some interest in the qualifying is that there were so many complaints about the overcrowding that Messieurs Mosley and Eccleston threatened to withdraw all of their teams if Schupan and Kinnaman were allowed to practice. And so both were stopped.
That's dramatic, but go on. Yeah,
I cannot believe that. And the Ensign team boss, Mo Nunn, was so furious that he started a verbal and public slanging match with the F1 Association.
Talk about picking particular drivers. Obviously, the drivers that
I know
the worst results, but those drivers, I guess, those drivers got the attention of those big bosses.
Yes,
for what it's worth. Not the good attention though. So this resulted in an urgent meeting that night between the CSI and the F1 Association to cut a deal to stop all the shenanigans. The outcome, it was agreed, was that everyone would take part in practice and that only the fastest of a predetermined number would be allowed to race according to the length of the track. Now remember, this track is very short.
This track is tiny. So this allowed Schupan and Kinnunen back into practice on Saturday, but neither made the grid. Schupan got closest though. He was only one place out. Go the Aussie.
Yeah. So interestingly, the whole grid was covered in less than 2 seconds, which we don't see much nowadays or back then. Funnily enough, we do see it in 2025. But 2 surprise non-qualifiers were stuck in the march, who never really got into his stride, and Pache in the Brabham, who had constant car issues.
All right, so to the race start, there was a very long delay with the flag being dropped to start the race. And as a result, there was growing uneasiness about rising engine temperatures, so much so that when the flag did fall, Price, in his third place shadow, remember, was caught watching his temperature gauge and he muffed his start.
Well, what did you say? Did you say muffed? M-U-F-F-E-D?
Yes, I did say. No, I didn't say it. Mike Lang said it.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, I knew what muffed meant, but I thought I'd still look it up. So this is the formal definition. To handle a situation, task or opportunity clumsily or badly.
Yeah. So clearly Price had a nonsense start.
Yeah.
But I really like
moved
muffed.
on.
Yeah,
yes,
I like
he's moved
muffed.
on.
Yeah.
I think nonsense was very 50s, Luigi. Like it was very proper.
Yeah,
now we're getting into the
offensive.
70s. Yes.
Yeah, it's offensive.
We're getting into the 70s kind of vernacular. He muffed it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Tom Price did. So watching the temperature gauge isn't going to make it cool down.
That's very good. I like that, Louis.
Yeah.
So in the commotion that followed, the shadow of Price's start. Anyway, Reutemann rammed into the shadow pretty much, which caused Price to launch in front of Hans Hesketh. And this is the second race in a row that these British drivers have collided.
Wow. And with all this muffed drama going on, let's not forget that Lauda streaked away into the lead with Peterson and Regazzoni hard on his tail. And while there were some interesting battles going on from 4th place onwards, which involved Fittipaldi, Scheckter, Hailwood, the attention was firmly on the leading trio, as Peterson clearly had the edge on the twisty section, that old gem again, while Lauda had the pace on the straight.
Yeah, we seem to hear this a lot in 74 in this season. And can I just say, given all the drama that we read about with Scheckter when he debuted and all the mayhem that he caused, he's being very good now. Like he's not causing any, so he must have settled down a tad. But anyway, Regazzoni had fallen back from the leading pair of drivers with a wheel vibration issue. And by lap 16, this is an 80-lap race, Lauda's Ferrari started to develop a similar vibration issue. And as a result, he ran wide entering the straight.
Wow. So it was an interesting race down the straight then, because Peterson was right on the gearbox of Lauda's car. And as they reached the braking area, he made a dive for the inside line and swept into the lead.
Oh, that's an exciting move. Lauda is really good at fighting, even when he has a damaged car. But so that was really good by Peterson. So Peterson is now starting to steadily pull away. Regazzoni's in third place with his Ferrari, but under threat by Fittipaldi until Fittipaldi's engine stopped on lap 28. So that excitement is over. That only lasted about one sentence, Luigi.
You got to take what you can, right?
Yeah.
So the half distance, the race was as good as over. Peterson held a comfortable lead over Lauda. The real interest again centered around Regazzoni, as he was now being attacked by Scheckter in the Tyrrell. And this battle went right down to the wire, and Regazzoni held on to third by a mere 0.2 seconds.
Ickx was fifth in the other Lotus and Holm was sixth in his McLaren. Yeah, so Peterson is really showing that he's the number one at Lotus. I wanted to check if Ickx was the old guy, as he has been in F1 longer. But no, Peterson was actually older, as you said before, Louis. So Ickx was 29 and Peterson was 30.
Yeah, I was surprised because when you see one driver dominating another, like Fittipaldi is known for being very young, Holm is older.
Yes.
And so the young guy beating the older guy. But this is not applicable. Yeah.
No.
And 1 year difference is almost nothing anyway. So Lauda's win meant that he was now a fourth championship leader during this season. Or not Lauda's win, Lauda's second place gave him the lead in the championship, with previous leader Fittipaldi slipping back to third. So it's very close. We'll talk about that in a second. And Scheckter not too far away. So this is fast turning out to be one of the most competitive seasons ever.
Yep. So, yeah, as you say, we've got a new championship leader. Lauda's on 36, Regazzoni on 32. So Regazzoni's followed him up there. Fittipaldi on 31 and Scheckter on 26. And then on the constructors, we've got Ferrari in the lead on 45. McLaren on 43 and Tyrrell on 30. Interesting.
It's becoming a very interesting season. And look at Peterson's Lotus not breaking down for once. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we're up to the 10th race of the season, the British Grand Prix. It's at Brands Hatch, July 20, 75 laps, and the weather is warm and sunny. So this time the largest entry turned up for the season. So we had all this discussion leading up to this, so you can just feel a pressure cooker starting, right? So 34 drivers turned up for the 25. 34 is a lot. With 25
34 is a lot.
Yeah, 25 grid positions available.
So this included 3 debut drivers, Mike Wilde's John Nicholson, but the one we're going to talk about and call out more is Lella Lombardi in the Brabham BT42. So she's only the second female to make it into a Formula One car and into a qualifying position.
Yeah. And there are 2 drivers making their season debut, and that includes David Purley and Derek Bell.
Yep, so again, there's champagne on offer here, courtesy of the Evening News for the fastest time on Thursday practice.
And it was none other than our muff starter, Price, who took the accolades in his shadow.
So great that it was a shadow team, the small team that got it. So he can't be a muffed starter anymore, Louis.
Yeah, he gets it taken away, does he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
So he did this even though the shadow was struggling over the bumps of the track. So it was a really great effort by him and the new team of Shadow. So good on them.
So as practice progressed, it was a very informed Lauda who eventually sealed pole position. However, not to be outdone, Peterson equaled that time.
Yeah. And Peterson did this still using the old 72E, but this time with drilled brakes. So I guess that's for cooling, I'm guessing. And it was noted that this time was made all the more impressive by the fact that his car was nowhere near as smooth as the Ferrari.
So it was a big effort to take that old Lotus around in pole equaling time. I have heard many people really held Peterson up to a very high standard and that he had a habit of being in the right team at the wrong time. I can see why he was so respected. He's destroying Ickx this season.
Yeah, and he was getting I remember all the pole positions he got in 73, and look what's stopping him this year. It's like a totally informed Ferrari stopping him, you know?
Yes.
So on the grid, third was Scheckter in the Tyrrell, followed by Reutemann in the Brabham.
Reutemann was right up there this early in the season and even won a race. So it's great to see him back up there. How about Fittipaldi and Regazzoni, the other championship contenders?
Yeah, you know the topsy-turvy season this is. Regazzoni was 7th and Fittipaldi was 8th.
And I just want to call out a special comment about Holm. He qualified 19th. So, as you say, topsy-turvy, he won the first race of the season. I wonder what's going on with him. He's in a McLaren as well. But yeah, he's being dominated by Fittipaldi. Maybe, like, I don't know when he retires, and I have been caught out, but maybe this is like his swan song year.
Yeah, maybe. He gets his one win, ticks the box.
Yeah.
So on race day, there was some drama with Hunt, who qualified 6th behind Price in the Shadow, who was 5th. For not only did he have engine issues which forced him to switch cars, he also managed to run over and injure a Tyrrell mechanic in the pit lane.
Oh, no. That's unfortunate. On top of this, Regazzoni's engine was found to have an issue during the warm-up, and the team replaced it just in time for the start of the race. At least they identified it and resolved it, like it didn't happen during the race. So we'll see what happens. So to the race start, when the flag fell, after some other minor delays, which we won't go into too much, Lauda shot into the lead as he had done both in Holland and France.
Yeah, but this time Peterson developed significant wheel spin and he had to give way to both Scheckter and Regazzoni, and they got around him. Would you call that a nonsense start for Peterson?
Wheel spin's pretty basic, isn't it?
That's nonsense. That's nonsense.
It is. It's nonsense. It's muffed.
It's muffed, yeah. As the cars headed around the clearways, the last corner before the start-finish line, Lauda was already an astonishing 2 seconds in the lead, followed by Scheckter, Regazzoni, Peterson, Reutemann, Fittipaldi, and the rest.
You know what? I don't like it when Lauda and Ferrari have those awesome leads at the very start. It makes me very nervous. I just can't help it. Like they have been leading races or up there a lot of times, and then there's retirements for them. So I'm just nervous. But anyway, there were a number of early retirements, including Hunt, which, you know, he's having a pretty bad British GP given he's British. But up front, Lauda was pulling away with his Ferrari looking very smooth over the bumps. Scheckter was struggling to keep up with the Ferrari, but he was at least pulling away slightly from Regazzoni. He was having a tough time keeping Peterson at bay in 4th place. This is an exciting British Grand Prix, Louis. Sometimes they're boring.
Yeah, and this might become, let's see, because that smooth Ferrari, I mean, it might be the win that's boring. Let's see. So not a great deal happened. So we had jumped to half distance, with one of the biggest excitement points being a battle for 11th place, which is not good to hear. Which I'm actually not going to discuss, but instead, what happened at the halfway point is the incident that in most people's minds transformed the race.
Okay, about time. So Stark in the March crashed heavily, and besides putting himself out of the race, he littered the track with stones and debris from his own car.
So then within 3 laps, Peterson, who was still right on Regazzoni's tail, suddenly shot into the pits. Puncture. Of course it would be Peterson.
No.
That's the rule, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then Pescarolo in the BRM, same issue.
Oh, no.
Pits puncture. Then on lap 41, Regazzoni was in the pits for the same reason.
I told you. This is super dangerous. This is a very fast track. Like, this is not good. So when you think about it, the teams couldn't warn their drivers where the danger spot was. It was up to the drivers to be aware of it and observant and try to avoid it. So now Fittipaldi suddenly found himself in 3rd place. With 15 laps remaining, the order was Lauda, Scheckter, Fittipaldi, X, Price, Regazzoni after another super quick Ferrari pit stop, and then the rest. It's good that the leading pair were impacted by the incident. I really just mean Lauda in the Ferrari, really. That's all I'm really happy about at this point.
Pretty much. And Lauda's got a habit of being very attentive to the track with these sort of things.
Yes.
Lauda was comfortable with a 9-second lead, but then his lead started to shrink.
Oh,
He is
let
not
me
the
guess.
perfect driver. He had a puncture. So Scheckter closed in, and by lap 70, and remember this is a 75 lap race, Scheckter cruised past into the lead.
Oh, no. So there were questions as to why Lauda didn't pit. The Ferrari pit made it clear that they were ready and able to give him a pit stop, but Lauda decided he was better off soldiering on versus the lost pit time. So I think he had a slow puncture, Louis. It didn't have like a total tyre failure, but his gamble failed because it wasn't long before the tyre started disintegrating. And on the second to last lap, Fittipaldi took second place, 15 seconds behind Scheckter.
So now Lauda was driving on the wheel rim and forced to go into the pits. When Lauda tried to leave the pits, guess what? He found the pit exit blocked by hanger-oners and officials.
No, that's ridiculous. What were they doing there, especially the officials?
The race isn't over. So instead, because he was blocked, instead of finishing fifth as he should have, Lauda was classified as ninth.
Oh my gosh, surely this is a protest moment. Who was that guy? Remember that guy, Ugolini? Ugolini, this is your moment. Come back, protest.
This was his moment. So the Ferrari team were incensed by this, and post-race discussions with organisers failed to change the decision. The protest continued. They didn't give up, and it was only until after appeal in September, and remember this race was on July 20, that Lauda was finally reinstated in fifth place.
Wow. Well, I'm glad that common sense and sanity prevailed. I mean, a driver being held up by like hangers on in the pit lane, that is ridiculous.
Yeah, that is pretty bad.
So the final results were Scheckter first, Fittipaldi second, Ickx third, Regazzoni fourth, and Lauda fifth after the protest, and Reutemann sixth. And a special mention to Holm in seventh after qualifying 19th, Louis.
Good on him.
Good on him.
Good on him. Well done, Holm.
Yes. So Niki Lauda then, I think this, so I'm not sure, Louis, is this championship standing after he was reinstated fifth?
Let me just see what points he had before this race. He's on 38 there. Yes, it is after he got reinstated.
Okay, so he's now on 38, Fittipaldi on 37, Scheckter and Regazzoni on 35.
That's 3 points between four drivers with five races to go.
Yeah, okay.
And even Peterson on 19, he can still win it.
He could still win it. Yeah.
He's not that far behind. Yeah.
No. So on the constructors, McLaren's taken the lead again on 49, only 1 point ahead of Ferrari on 48. And then we have Tyrrell on 39 and Lotus on 26.
The crazy season continues.
Yes. All right. Well, we're going to pause and stop our crazy season and come back for the next part. I don't know if it's going to be the end or not, but we'll see. We'll see how we go.
It will not be, just so you know.
Okay. Okay.
Bye, everyone.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.